There was once a monk called Lam Chung who lived at the time of Buddha Shakyamuni. Before he became a monk, he had already gained the reputation of being dull and unteachable. Everybody loves Lam Chung because we can all associate with him. He was sent to school, but soon expelled because the teachers said he was unable to remember any of his lessons. Later, his parents sent him to a Brahmin to learn the Vedic scriptures. Again, he was unable to remember or understand anything he was taught and was once again expelled. Thinking that a monastic situation might be more to his liking, his parents sent Lam Chung to his elder brother, Arya Lam Chen, who ordained him as a monk. Lam Chen took responsibility for his younger brother's education and began by teaching him one verse of Dharma. Lam Chung studied this verse for 3 months but never mastered it. Exclamation mark. I don't know why Geshe's put an exclamation mark. Isn't that normal? It's like he's saying that like it was some surprising thing. If he memorized it in the morning, he would forget it by the evening. And if he memorized it at night, he would forget it by the following morning. He tried studying out of doors, hoping this would be helpful for his mind. He's an enterprising fellow. You can't fault him for effort, can you? He's getting up, he's putting the work in. So 10 out of 10 for Lam Chung, I say. Anyway, didn't work. So he studied out of doors, hoping this would be helpful for his mind, but with no success. He recited the verse so often while he was in the hills that even the shepherds minding their flocks came to memorize and understand it. But poor Lam Chung still could not master it. The shepherds themselves tried teaching him. I mean, how he didn't just give up. I mean, he does in a minute. But, like, you got to give him kudos, haven't you? Because you imagine how discouraging it is. Even the shepherds just have incidentally memorized what you're putting effort into being able to and not succeeding. And they still can't get through to you. Even the shepherds themselves tried teaching him, but still Lam Chung was unable to learn it. As a result of his repeated failure, even his older brother Lam Chen was compelled to dismiss him. Lam Chung felt utterly depressed and cried as he walked slowly along the road. He thought to himself, "Now I am neither a monk nor a layperson. How miserable I am." Through the power of his clairvoyance, Buddha saw that all that had taken place with Lam Chung and went to meet him. He asked him why he was crying, and Lam Chung replied, "I am so stupid. I cannot memorize even one verse of scripture. Now even my own brother has given up on me." Buddha told him not to worry. As a method to purify his mind of past negativities, he taught Lam Chung just a few words of Dharma and appointed him as the sweeper at the temple. Lam Chung was very happy with his new position. He swept the temple with great dedication, reciting as he did so the few words that Buddha had taught him. It's just such a beautiful picture. He's there in the temple, just like, oh, somebody's welcomed me in, somebody's held me, I haven't been rejected. I've been given like a meaningful role, just sweeping, just so happy, just content. It doesn't matter about high position. He's just in the temple, sweeping away, just a happy wee lamb. Happy wee lamb, yeah, Lam Chung. It's beautiful. I love that bit, just that he's just cherished in that way. It just really makes my heart smile. He swept and swept for a long time, but through the power of Buddha, whenever Lam Chung swept the right side of the temple, more dust would appear on the left side. And whenever he swept the left side of the temple, more dust would appear on the right side. That sounds very familiar. I've had that experience. Nevertheless, he continued to sweep and purify, so not rushing, not forcing, just joyful. Oh, there's some challenges here, it's difficult. Oh, what shall I do? Shall I give up? No, he's just happy, so happy to keep on going. So he continued to sweep and purify just as Buddha had instructed. The situation remained like this for a long time until, all of a sudden, Lam Chung was struck by the realization that the dust he was constantly sweeping lacked true independent existence. Ooh. This was a profound realization, and through it he gained a direct understanding of emptiness, the ultimate nature of reality. By meditating on this emptiness continuously, he was soon able to attain complete liberation from suffering. He had become a glorious, glorious foe destroyer. This teaches us so much. It teaches both people who might get discouraged because they don't feel like the brightest bulb in the ceiling, or might also help people who think they're cleverer than they really are. People have got a bit of intellectual pride, because it's showing how to really make progress. It isn't about having a high IQ, being academic, learning all these complicated things and being able to, give long teachings on philosophical subtleties. It's not about any of that. It's about moving your mind. What moves our mind? We've got to purify that negative karma which is holding us back. We've got to put fuel in the tank. Lots and lots and lots and lots of positive karma. Really nurture ourselves, nourish ourselves. I think we've again got quite low standards for how much nourishing we need or we deserve or some rubbish like that. It's not about how much nourishing you deserve, it's about how much you can get. And the answer is a lot, because Buddha isn't holding back. The sun of Buddha's blessings is shining us continuously. We can open our heart to it and let it all in. Or you can think of Buddha's blessings as being water, or whatever you need in order to nourish your mind. We hold back. It's funny, we've got kind of miserly, I don't think this is just me, we've got lots of miserly attitudes towards how much goodness we can take into our heart. It's a bit weird. But it's a tendency a lot of us have. If this isn't you, ignore what I'm saying. If it is, don't ignore what I'm saying. So this naturally then, it's like if you put, let's say, if you put fuel in the car, if you take off the brakes and you're inspired to have the confidence to put your foot on the pedal, the car is going to move. Assuming everything else is right, the engine's not broken and stuff like that. If you put those conditions together, you make progress on your journey. Not if, not but, not maybe. It's like the conditions have come together, you get the result. So what's happened here is Lam Chung's got the result of faithful, patient, consistent practice. Whatever few words of Dharma Buddha gave him were clearly the right ones. And they're all the right ones, aren't they? You could take any 3 words of Geshe-la's books and meditate on them with this attitude, just over a long period of time, just joyfully, happily, purifying negative karma as you go, accumulating positive karma as you go. You are going to get realizations. You are going to get realizations. Buddha saw that the purification techniques he had given Lam Chung had been profoundly successful and decided to proclaim Lam Chung's new qualities publicly. He directed his disciple, Ananda, to inform a certain community of nuns. The way it says certain community makes you know that something interesting is about to happen. What's going on with these nuns, eh? He directed his disciple Ananda to inform a certain community of nuns that from then on, their new spiritual guide was to be Lam Chung. The nuns were very upset and felt, how can we accept as our abbot a monk who is so stupid that he could not even remember one verse of the teachings over months and months? Wicked. These nuns clearly need a lesson. They're teaching, don't they? Here we go. What Lam Chung going to do with this? They decided that if they exposed Lam Chung's inadequacies in public, they would not have to accept him as their teacher. So they spread the word in a nearby town that a monk who was as wise as Buddha himself would be coming soon to give teachings, and that all those who attended would certainly attain great realizations. To increase his expected humiliation, what a horrible thing to do. It's like you hear about kids on social media kind of crucifying each other in various ways and setting each other up in order to be humiliated, and it seems to happen in those days as well. Just as well these nuns didn't have access to Facebook, isn't it? It would have been much worse. To increase his expected humiliation, the nuns even erected a large ostentatious throne like a teaching platform, without any steps leading up to its elevated seat. When the day of the scheduled teachings arrived, Lam Chung made his way to the nuns' community where over 100,000 people had gathered. A bit intimidating. Some to listen and others to see him humiliated. When he saw the large throne without steps, he realized that it had been constructed in this way to make him look foolish. Without hesitation, he stretched out his hand so that it seemed like an enormous elephant's trunk, and with it he reduced the throne until it was just a small speck. Remember, he's got a realization of ultimate truth, emptiness. Reality is dreamlike. To somebody who's woken up to that truth, things are malleable in ways that they're not to people who haven't woken up to that truth. Then he returned the throne to its former size and, to the increasing amazement of the gathering, flew up to the top of it. After a brief period of meditation, he flew into the sky and circled the gathering before returning to the throne. Seated once more, he said, "Listen carefully." You can just imagine the power of his voice after that. Just calm, but are you paying attention now? Listen carefully. I will now give a week-long discourse on the meaning of one verse of Dharma. This is the same verse that in the past I could not remember or understand even after 3 months of trying. When the 7 days of teaching were complete, many thousands in the audience had attained a direct realization of emptiness, while others attained the elevated states of a stream enterer, a once returner, a never returner, and a foe destroyer. Others who were present were able to develop the precious bodhicitta, and those who came to test him increased their faith in the 3 jewels. Afterwards, Buddha himself prophesied that among all his disciples, Lam Chung would possess the greatest skill in taming the minds of others. Why? Because he's been there. He's got that karma with people whose minds are untamed because his mind was untamed and he overcame that obstacle. If you've overcome an obstacle directly in your lifetime, your ability to help other people overcome the same obstacle is huge, isn't it? If it's just a theoretical thing or something adjacent to your own experience, you might have some empathy, you might be able to give some good advice, but it ain't going to be the same as somebody who's been through it themselves. So Lam Chung, wow. Even today we can see pictures of Lam Chung, who was one of the 16 foe destroyers often depicted in Buddhist art. I believe that if you go to Jangchub Ling Meditation Centre, if you're lucky enough to poke your head into room 1 in the main building, it's a meditation room, it was last time I was there, and it's got some of the old art from early in the life of Manjushri Centre when it had all this more traditional old Tibetan art, and there's a picture of the 16 foe destroyers in there with Lam Chung pictured among them. So how are you feeling about that? Do you like the story of Lam Chung, or we can associate, can't we? So, yeah, it's about being inspired, isn't it? To enjoy these simple practices. Slow down and just do a bit. It doesn't need to be much. As long as we set ourselves big goals, I'm going to clean the whole room from corner to corner and inside and out, and then we get to it and we can't find the energy. So do what you can do a little bit, and enjoy what you do, and then expand just a little bit more,